Hey everybody, so welcome back to Jim Bob in the Weeds. So today I'm pulling weeds and rambling on, and so hopefully you're here to listen to me ramble while I go about pulling a few weeds out of my garden and making things look a little nicer, and hopefully getting it set up for spring. I mean, it's for fall rather, for fall planting. Today what I want to talk about is local, going local. And I know that this is a big thing amongst the millennials and a lot of the younger generation, and for a lot of us older folks it's like, you know, them young whippersnappers, they don't know what they're talking about. Get off my yard, you damn kids. But I will tell you that there is a lot of really good that comes from going local, particularly when it comes to gardening. All right, so first off, I want to tell you there are some really good stores around, or not really stores, I guess shops, so to speak, or places where you can get plants here in the Jacksonville area. Now, there's one that's called Eat Your Yard Jacks, which I've talked a lot about. I love going over there, talking to Tim and all the people who work for him. He's got a really nice spread up off of Pritchard Road. And if you haven't been there, I highly recommend it. He has a lot of different varieties you're not going to find anywhere else. Well, not many other places, I should say. And reasonable prices and a really good setup. Plus, he's a local guy, so you're not paying for the shipping. You're not paying for the, you know, the out of state, out of country production. And the beauty of going local, one of the beauties of it, is that you're going to find that the plants that he sells are going to be good here in our area. Now, if you go buy, you know, plants or seeds at a big box store, they're for a generalized audience. Just like when you go to McDonald's, the food isn't set up for you. It's you know, it's for a large portion of the population. So you're not going to find a lot of spices and things like that you would normally find in home cooking. Same kind of things happen when it comes to local nurseries. You're going to find the things that grow well here, and typically you're going to find a much better knowledge base than you will at other nurseries. And then another great one that I just recently went to is a place called Maggie's Herb Garden, which I got to say I was very impressed with. They had a good selection of a lot of different native varieties, a lot of other cool plants, and I did walk away spending a reasonable chunk of money, though I didn't spend it. It was my Father's Day gift. It's out off of well, it's like on the St. Johns River, west of St. Augustine. And I will tell you, it's on County Road 13, which I believe ends up in San Jose when it makes it back into town. But it's a really beautiful motorcycle ride if you ever want to take a motorcycle ride out there. Though it's really hard to bring a lot of plants back on your motorcycle. That was one of the first rides I took with my buddies when I was in the Navy after I bought my bike. Which, yes, I have a Harley, and I do ride it. But not as much as I'd like to. You know, Florida's great for riding, sometimes. But with the humidity we have here and the heat, it can sometimes be a challenge. And then, you know, it's not like you get a lot of curvy mountain roads in Florida, so. But at any rate, Eat Your Yard Jacks and Maggie's Herb Garden are two of the nurseries I found, the local nurseries around here, that are very good, have good products, very good knowledge base, and I highly recommend both of them. If you haven't been there, go give them a shot. They're local businesses. I don't know how much of their stuff is, you know, grown locally, but I know, and I just started, you know, I just went for the first time to Maggie's Herb Garden, but I will tell you that all of the plants, well, not all, most of the plants that I have gotten were very successful. from the local nurseries I bought from. And the failures were my fault, not the plant's fault. But I do like the idea that they have a lot of strange and interesting things that grow well in this area, where it's really hard to keep things growing in the summertime. You know, I got my Malabar spinach from Tim at Each Yard. I got my Egyptian spinach from him. I got just so many different varieties of things and different things from Each Yard Jacks that I probably could not have gotten most other places. Now, some of this stuff you can buy on Etsy and various other sources, but man, I'm gonna tell you what, like Malabar spinach is not cheap. If you go looking at some of these websites, and even some of the things that we bought at Maggie's Herb Garden for $5 or $10, we're going for, you know, as much as $100 online, depending on where you get it from. You know, because everybody thinks that just because it's organic, that's soft, it should be more expensive. By the way, I did grow potatoes in here, and they did not do well. I don't know if it's the soil, or if it's I didn't get enough water on it. I don't know what the case is, but they did not do very well. Got a lot of little tiny potatoes, and well, I didn't even get a lot. I got some little tiny potatoes. Most of them weren't very good sized. And now I did plant them late. There were some, speaking of local, there were some seed potatoes that my neighbor had, and again, I'm pretty sure it was my issue, not the seed potatoes. I just didn't get them going good enough. And you know, this is not the most fertile ground yet, and we're getting there. We'll continue to get better as time goes on. At any rate, so highly recommend going local when it comes to buying plants. A lot of different advantages. You know, there's always the environmental advantage, because, you know, if it's local, didn't have to be shipped. If we all bought local plants, that'd be that many less trucks on the road, that much less gas being used, that much less traffic. A lot of different benefits to buying plants locally. And I want to tell you that, you know, one of the things I do is I keep my own seeds. Like if you look behind me here and you see all these daikon radishes, which I didn't think were going to grow here this time of year, those are a result of me pulling plants, scavenging the seeds, and having a bunch of seeds just fall. So that's the epitome of local. And I'm going to tell you, you know, a lot of what I have done with the plants I've gotten from Each Yard Jacks, and what I'm going to do with the plants I just recently got from Maggie's herb farm, is I'm going to propagate these plants, and I'm going to have seed or new plants from the old plants to plant in my garden. All right? And that is the epitome of local. I mean, there is nothing more local than getting plants from my own garden and not having to buy them from a store that had them shipped in from China or Costa Rica or wherever else. And I know a lot of people think that, you know, oh, well, all the seeds I buy are local. Well, maybe not. Let's just say I've heard rumors about where seeds come from, and it may not all be what you think. So I have some sunflowers here, so I'm going to kind of thin out a little bit. Hopefully allow these other ones to grow better. The plan was to get a second crop and then to try and grow some beans up them in the fall. We'll see how it works out. Didn't cost me nothing but some seeds, again, that I got local, because they came from my sunflower seeds last year. So, they're not doing great, but they're growing. We'll see how it works out over the summer. I know normally sunflowers I plant in the spring and then harvest in the fall. or the summer. Like I got some that are getting really close to being harvestable now. Some nice big fat heads. And again, I'll save some seeds for next year. I usually just save the head. I'll save the whole head. And then wait till the summer. Or I'm sorry, the spring, and just pull them out of the head then. At any rate, so going local is a very good thing for a lot of different reasons. And I really like these local nurseries, not only because they're local, but because they know what grows here in this area. Alright? I mean, you know, I watch a lot of YouTube channels. I do a lot of gardening searches online. And, you know, when I started this YouTube channel, one of the reasons I started was because there wasn't a lot of good information out there about North Florida. Now, particularly Northeast Florida, the Jacksonville area. And believe it or not, you know, having that local knowledge is critical. And I have learned some from, you know, other gardeners in the area. But I spend a lot of time looking at stuff on YouTube and trying to get information for that stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I started the channel. Was it seemed to me that there was a need for people who grew locally to show what actually grew well here. Alright? And that's about the time I found Eat Your Yard Jacks and started finding out what he was doing, or what they were doing. I think it's just him primarily. And started seeing some of the information that was put out, because he has a YouTube channel also, which I highly recommend you check out. He doesn't put out near as many videos as I do. Which, hey Tim, if you're out there, you need to put out some more videos, man. You do a good job. Maybe sometime in the future, I'll get together with him and we'll do a combined video, which we have talked about briefly. But this is a busy time of year for me. Between Mother's Day, Father's Day, and various other family functions, birthdays and such. Oh wow, there's a potato right there. I got one nice potato at least. So I do have a hard time getting stuff going on this time of year. Excuse, reason. You know. We used to say in the Navy, assholes and excuses. Everybody's got one, and they all stink. Take that for what you will. Ancient mariner wisdom there for you. Comment. But anyway, so I want to encourage y'all to go local wherever possible. I think it's a great thing for various different reasons. But the biggest reason I will tell you that you should do it is because you're probably going to be a lot more successful if you do local nurseries with local knowledge and local plants. All right, and you know, I've talked about this on some other videos, but one of the reasons I collect seeds is that I'm hoping that the seed stock will start to adapt to my climate, to my conditions, to my garden, and be more productive as a result. That's a lot of what I'm doing. So I highly recommend checking out these places. Both places are really good. Both places have a lot of knowledge and a plethora of different varieties and unique plants that you can get. Both of them have a very knowledgeable staff, a good attitude, and it's really neat. I mean, it's almost like we did it as my Father's Day field trip. That's where we went. You know, they asked me, okay, well, Daddy, what do you want to do for your Father's Day? I said, well, I want to go check out Maggie's herb garden. And so we did. Now, of course, you know, having adult kids, some made it one day, and then I'll have to take the others another day. We did other stuff for Father's Day, but mostly sat around and watched movies. That's always fun too. But I'm gonna take my other kids out there too and show them, because it's a really cool spot, man. I really enjoy it. Each Yard Jacks is a place I've been going for a while. I've recommended on many different videos, and a lot of what I got in this yard is from Each Yard Jacks. Everything from fig trees to Malabar spinach to longevity spinach. A lot of that came from Each Yard Jacks, and I continue to go there on a fairly regular basis. And that's probably one of the biggest expenses in my garden, is my time at some of these different places, because you just have some really cool stuff. Alright, so check it out. Stay local wherever possible. I mean, local is great. It's good for the environment, it's good for you, and most importantly, it's good for your garden. Alright, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Check out your local nurseries in your area if you're not from here in the Jacksonville area. You'll find the same thing there, more than likely. You'll find very knowledgeable people. You'll find localized plants. And oftentimes, you'll find community. Other people with similar interests to yours. And it's amazing how much gardeners like to share. Now, last thing I will say about local is, you know, the epitome of the local is growing it in your own yard, or like my neighbor over here next door to me. I just got a bunch of seeds for Father's Day from one of my children, and so I was showing him what I got, and we're talking about the possibility of doing some sharing. He's given me tomato plants, I've given him tomato plants, we've given each other produce, and then we've shared seeds, and that is the epitome of local. All right, sharing within the community, whether it be your neighbor, people you know at church, or people you know from social groups, or the local bar, or whatever, you know, whatever information you get, or even going places like Each Yard Jacks or Maggie's, and talking to people there, running into people there, and so on. I highly recommend staying as local as you can when it comes to gardening, because what grows here, grows here. What doesn't grow here, doesn't. And there are people out there who know the difference. Alright, so thanks for stopping by. Do me a favor, give me a like and subscribe, and let me know what you think. But most importantly, grow something. Get something growing in your yard, and that way you can share it, as well as enjoy the produce from your own backyard. Alright, because there is nothing more local than your own backyard. Alright, thanks once again. Y'all take care. Come back and see me. Most importantly, grow something.